In this video, I'll show you how to shirr with the Elna Pro 5 DC using the chain stitch. It's really easy and I really like the results. To set up for shirring, I have regular thread in the chain stitch needle. I have elastic thread in the chain stitch looper, and the manual is not really clear at what this little piece is here, so when I'm doing a normal chain stitch, I just let it go behind this area. But I found with the elastic thread, it works much better if you put the elastic thread in front of here so it doesn't really get into that groove. The blade needs to be disengaged and the upper looper disengaged, which is this lever to the left. Also for shirring, it's helpful if you have the chain stitch table. To attach that, move the blade all the way to the left so that it's at the 7.0, 3.7 mark, and put the table into the slot. It'll fit down, and then you move the blade as far as you need to the right to lock that securely in place. Okay. And I should also mention that we have plate B in and it is foot A. Now, when you first start to chain stitch, you always want to start with fabric under the foot. You always want to keep fabric under the foot. So I have these scraps of quilting cotton that I use in between my rows of shirring, because I found that if I tried to chain too long of a chain, the thread would always break. Okay, so I have my chain stitch needle thread set at 2, my looper pretty loose so that the metal bar in the center is a little bit sunken in. It comes out past it. The differential needs to be set at 1 and the stitch length 3. And I have scrap under the foot. I'm going to lift the foot, and to start out I just like to line the edge with this crease between the extension table and the machine, and just start sewing. And then every once in a while I just check the elastic thread and make sure not too much tension is being put on it. And then as I get close to the end, make sure my needle's down, I'm going to take one of my scrap pieces, put it under the foot, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space or else it'll be hard to cut that scrap piece off, and just go ahead and sew onto it until I get to the end and leave the needle down, and I can snip it right in between. Okay. Here's the scrap that started. I'll snip that off. And we have one row sewn. So to do the second, I'm using red thread on this so that it's easier to see. And I like to line it up with the side and leave a little space. And start again. And then you want to make sure that you're pulling the fabric flat as you sew so that it can stretch back out. And just keep going like that, using your scrap pieces in between until you have several rows of shirring. So here's the underside of the shirring, and the tension on the elastic thread has kept it from looping, and instead the needle thread is looping around the elastic. I like to use shirring for waistbands. Let me know in the comments what kind of projects you like to use shirring on. And thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.